The energy yesterday was very intensive. And it was really interesting to see how it's intensive, like in Israel, because the hostage situation. And yet it's also very intensive in the world. Each one of you have its own reason, but it's all set for all of us. It's like, in a way, on the same themes. So I did, so I was inspired yesterday from the chat you had, and from the chat I had in the in-person to do a mini constellation. So it's so yeah. So I invite you to bring 5 representations, and we're gonna do a healing session for all of us, actually. So this mini session is, yeah, it's about our own accumulated traumas. And the first representation will be me in this incarnation. And I'll write it all down also. The second is my soul. Okay. The third is all my past life that I was hunted because of my beliefs. All of my past life that I was hunted because of my belief. And I will say something about that. So belief can be Jewish, Christian, Aborigine, like it can be like a religious system, but it also can be any other belief system. You know, once all the scientists were persecuted because they didn't go with the church. So and all the alchemists were persecuted by scientists. So it's like there are all kinds of ways we could have been persecuted or hunted, not only because of spiritual belief system. It can be also because we were women or we were gay or any belief system we had that didn't went well with the majority that we lived in. So this is the third one. The fourth is the trauma I'm carrying on me from all those lifetimes. Okay. All those lifetimes. And the healing my soul is looking for in this lifetime. Okay, so 5 representation. Me in this lifetime, my soul, all my past life that I was hunted because my personal belief, and bring in just 1 representation for that. The trauma I'm carrying from all those lifetimes and the healing my soul wishes to get in this incarnation. Okay, so let's start with put your hand on me, on my soul. And notice what comes up. Feeling, sensation, whatever comes up. Take your hands off and put it on your soul. Notice what comes up here. And take your hands off and put it on all the past life I was hunted because of my belief or what I believed in. Notice what comes up here. Take your hands off and put it on the trauma that I'm carrying from all these past lives. And take your hands off and put it on the healing that my soul is looking to gain, to get in this incarnation. Notice what comes up. Take your hands off and put it back on me in this incarnation. Notice what comes up. And if me in this incarnation wants to stay or move, can she move? And if she wants to move, move her and notice the change in the energy. And take your hands off and put it on your soul. Notice what comes up. And if the soul wants to stay or move, if she wants to move, move her. And notice the change in the energy. And take your hands off and put it on all the past life. Notice what comes up. They want to stay okay, and if they want to move, move them. And notice the change in the energy. Take your hands off and put it on the trauma. Notice what comes up. And if it wants to move, move it. And notice the change in the energy. And take your hands up and put it on me in this incarnation. Notice what comes up. And if it wants to move, move it. And notice the change in the energy. And take your hands off and put it on the healing the soul is looking for. Notice what comes up. If it wants to stay, okay. If it wants to move, move it. And notice the change in the energy. And take your hands off and put it on the soul. Notice what comes up. If it wants to move, move it. And notice the change in the energy. What happens when the soul looks at the trauma, at all those past life? What does she feel regarding them? What comes up within her? And take your hands off and put it on all the past life. What comes up here? What happened when all the past life look at the trauma? What happened when they look at the soul? Does they want to stay where they are? Do they want to move? If they want to move, move them and notice a change in the energy. And take your hands off and put it on the trauma. Notice what comes up. When you are on the trauma and you look at the healing, what happens? When you're on the trauma and you look at all those past life, what comes up? Does the trauma want to stay where it is? Does it want to move? If she wants to move, move her and notice a change in the energy. Mm, Take your hands off, put it on the healing. Notice what comes up. And if the healing wants to stay, okay, and if it wants to move, move it. And notice a change in the energy. And take your hands off and put it back on the trauma. And when you are on the trauma, look at the soul and tell the soul, I am an accumulated energy. And yet you don't have to carry me on you anymore. I belong to other lifetimes. You don't need me to guide your life or to influence your life. Notice how does it feel to say that? And look if the trauma is placed in her optimal place. And if not, look where is the optimal place of the trauma and move her to her optimal place. And when she's in her optimal place, notice what has changed in the energy. And take your hands off and put it on all the lifetime that I was persecuted or hunted. Notice what comes up. Look at the soul and look at me in this incarnation and tell them this is an accumulated experience. This is not your first time. And yet, there is a lot of strength in this energy, a lot of gift and knowledge. Take the good from us, and the rest live with us. You don't have to hold on you this energy anymore. Notice how does it feel to say it. And notice is all those past life are in their optimal place. If yes, great. If not, move them to their optimal place and notice what has changed in the energy. And take your hands off and put it on the healing energy, the healing that the soul is seeking to gain. What happened now after all those sentences of accumulated energy and past life was said? What are the energies or emotions or sensations that are rising in the healing that my soul asked to gain, to have in this incarnation? And notice is this representation is in its optimal place. If yes, great. If not, move it to its optimal place and notice what has changed in the energy. And take your hands off and put it on my soul And after the soul heard all those sentences about accumulated energy and the gift that there is in those situations and not needing to carry all those trauma, what happens to the soul, to the sensation, to the feelings, to the emotions? And is the soul representation stand in its optimal place or not? If yes, great. If not, move her to her optimal place and notice the change in the energy. And take her hands off and put it on me in this incarnation. What happens to you now after you heard all those healing sentences about accumulated energy and that they belong to the past and the gifts? What comes up within you? Notice, are you in your optimal place? If yes, great. If not, move to your optimal place and notice the change in the energy. And take your hands off. You can shake them a little bit. Maybe take a deep breath. Look at the field, at the shift of the energy and the movement of the representations. How do you feel right now? Notice just looking at the field. And yeah, if anyone wants to share or to ask anything, and you can do this exercise again and again and again because we have a lot to clean, apparently. Yeah.